Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I just want to say, like, we have hit I think I'm just over 1 million views on my how to place an end YouTube video, which is incredible. So thank you so much for everybody who has watched that. If you haven't, I will leave a link down below here somewhere, or something will pop up on the screen. But considering how well and successful that video was, I thought I would do on how to remove an NG tube and how I store it safely in between uses, because I do reuse my tubes a couple times before I get a fresh one. So I thought that would be a cool or interesting video, considering how much you guys loved the other one. I thought it'd be interesting to do, like, kind of how I take it out and stuff, because you guys are like, oh my gosh, like, can you shower with it? So if you guys want me to do a feeding tube Q&A just on my tubes, let me know down below and I can do that for you. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so when you first place an NG, if you get it out of a fresh packet, which I have, so that means I'm going to reuse it. It comes in a bag like this, and you get like a little instructions, and you also get the guide wire, which if you guys haven't seen my how to place a tube, I will leave a link, like I said, because that might be helpful to know what I'm talking about. So this guide wire here goes in the tube to make it stiff. And if you're going to reuse it, you want to put that back in. So before I do anything, I'm going to pop on some gloves, because you want it to be as sterile as possible. Plus it's not very nice getting a load of like gunk from inside on your hands. So pop these on. Okay, so first things first, we're going to just remove this dressing, because we're not going to need it anymore. Okay, so then what you're going to do is, I like to do it in one swift movement. So just kind of blow your nose like right outwards, which I'm just going to quickly get a tissue for in case any stuff comes out, which it most likely will. It's always good to have like a tissue box handy, so I'm just going to grab, you can hear my nose, it's getting a bit nasally already because it's getting aggravated that the tube's wiggling around without the tape. So I'm just going to get this handy, and I'm just going to like kind of pull quickly. And I don't want to put the tube down, I want to keep it, like, I don't want to place it down if the surface isn't sterile. So just like that, and I'm just gonna wipe my nose because I felt like stuff come out. So what I'm gonna do, as you can see, my glove is now, it's a bit sticky from all the gunk that is on the tube. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab a couple of tissues, and I'm just gonna kind of wipe down the tube just to get all the initial like stuff off it, like that. Now I'm just going to grab a couple more tissues, because like I said, I want to try and keep this tube as clean as I can, even though I know it's just come out from inside me. I don't want to just leave it resting on the side. So I'm just going to get it with some tissue like that. I'm just going to leave it like that just for a second. Now I'm going to take off my gloves because I don't really need them on now. It was just more about getting stuff on my hands. Now what you're going to need, or what I tend to do, is I have a container that is sterile. So I use sterile water to clean this, like hot sterile water. So this is ready to store the tube once I've cleaned it and put back the guide wire. Then I'm also going to need a syringe that's going to fit on the end of the tube. So this is just, again, a sterile syringe. And I've also got another syringe full of sodium chloride, like a sterile flush. So I've got this, and then I have the big bottle of sterile water. Now we're just going to head to the bathroom quickly, and what we're going to do is we're going to run the tube under warm hot water, and we're going to flush it with some sterile water. So I'm going to open up this. This is just water for irrigation, not for injection. I'm also just going to have a quick sip because my throat is a bit sore now, just to ease the throat. So I'm going to open up this syringe. I'm just going to get it. So I have about, what is that, 9 mils in there. So I'm just going to put that back in there to keep it fresh. And I'm also going to take this one with me, and we're just going to head to the sink and we are going to wash off the tube, which is now quite dry from being in the tissue. So I'm just going to take that with me, but I'm going to take some fresh tissues to put the tube back in. Okay guys, so you want to get like quite warm water, but not enough, not too much that it's burning you, but you can see the steam off it, and you just kind of run it through your hands, because warm water is going to be the closest, like, to get all the gunk off from the outside. And that's pretty much all you want to do, just like that. And then I'm going to take the syringe that I showed you before, and this is the sterile water that we got from the jar, and we're just going to flush it through the tube, because anything that's been inside it now, you want to get out. You see all that stuff coming out? That is going to be bile and stuff from your insides. So you want to make sure you get all that stuff out. And then we're going to take the sodium chloride one that I talked about. And because I don't have an end that fits, we're just going to fill this syringe like that, and then pop this end back in, and then get the air out. Not that it really matters, guys, but just to flush through the syringe, the tube rather, like that. And then that is pretty as sterile as we're going to get it without it being a fresh tube. So now I'm going to just wrap that in a tissue. I'm going to go back to the room and I'm going to show you how I store it. Now, what I didn't show you, but what I did off camera, just because it's a bit more time consuming, is that big bottle of sterile water that I showed you, I poured a bit of that into a sterile bowl, and I let the tube just sit in there for a little bit so it can actually sterilize properly. And now that it is sterilized, I want to use the gloves again to make sure that I'm not going to get any germs or anything like that on it. Not that it matters too much, guys, but I do want to try and keep it as clean as possible, just to avoid things like infection and stuff like that. So next we have our container and the guide wire, which is actually back in the bag that the tube came in originally. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to unwrap the tube, which has been in the tissue. It's just been drying off. I'm then going to take the guide wire, which again, that is pretty sterile because that's just the plaster that the tube, I must put my eye out, that the tube comes with. And then I also, what I didn't show you also, was I pumped a couple of syringes of air through the tube to get all the water out, because if you leave stagnant water sitting in there, it's not going to be very sterile. And this guide wire is going to push any remaining bits of water out anyway. So you take the tip of the guide wire, which has also been re-sterilized and put back in the bag because I just want to be extra careful, and I'm just going to thread it back through the tube. So I'm just going to thread that back through, and then it's going to stiffen the tube. And we're just going to tighten it like that. Now the tube is pretty much ready to go back in this container. I could reuse the bag, but I think we're just going to coil it up and put it in the little container. So I'm going to wrap it up, not too tight because it does have a kink memory, but just tight enough that it's going to fit in the container basically. Sorry if you can hear my dogs barking. We're going to pop it in like that, and then we're just going to pop the lid on. Okay, so now that it's in its container, we don't need these gloves anymore. We can take those off because that is a sterile environment. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak. It's a sterile environment, so I can touch the outside of this, it's fine. It's just keeping it in a safe place now where it's not going to get any moisture in there or anything like that. But that is pretty much ready to go now next time I want to place my tube. And I can probably reuse this, I usually say about 3 to 4 times before I need a fresh tube. If you guys have access to fresh tubes every time, then obviously do that. But if you don't and you are short supplied like I am, then this is a much more convenient idea. So that's just going to go in my medical storage, which is behind me. And if you guys have seen that video, then brilliant. If not, I will leave a link to my medical storage tour because that shows where I keep everything. And I will just keep that where I keep my other NG tubes. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys found this helpful. And again, I hope it was kind of like a cool video, like a learning video. Oh my gosh, my dogs. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, then do let me know down below. Other than that, guys, hit that subscribe button if you are new and join the family, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.